welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a bloom update for the month of April, and everything is pretty much in active growth. I'm starting to fertilize a little bit more, and by the time you see this video, I'm going to be preparing for my trip. I'm going to be going to Brazil for a couple of weeks. So I'm going to Brazil for one of my really good friends' wedding. I'm going to be a bridesmaid for him, and I'm really excited. So I'm going to be in Sao Paulo, and a lot of my plants are gonna get pretty dry while I'm away. I'm gonna use my my self-watering setup. You guys could check that out here. I'm gonna use that on a couple of orchids and see how it goes. And I'm gonna ask my mom to help me out with my vandas and some of the orchids that need a little bit more moisture. So she'll pop in maybe once or twice. And I'm gonna give her my one of my mounted orchids so she could take care of that at her house. But everything should be fine. Orchids are hardier than most houseplants, honestly, unless they're seedlings. Those need some extra TLC, but I think everything's gonna be okay. I don't have a ton of blooms to show you right now. I've got a lot in bud, so I'll show you that. But I think next month I'll have a lot more, since we'll be in May, and this year I just find is just flying by. So anyway, let me show you the collection and we'll jump right in. So I don't have a ton to show you guys this month. I'm just going to walk you through the shelves real quick. I do have to replace one of my grow lights, so I find that my Sansi grow bulb that I use on my higher shelves, it tends to burn out every year, so that's unfortunate, but I got a replacement. But let's quickly go through the shelves. This one is my BLC Solar Flare Paradise. This has been in bloom for over a month, which is amazing. I love when Cattleyas stay blooming. My Delicatum is also blooming, just a couple of blooms this time, and we have a lot of Cattleyas in active growth. I really need to clean up my Hoya shelves. The flowers just fall off, but my Croniana Super Silver, it's blooming. It doesn't stop blooming, and it's very fragrant. I'm really excited for this. This is my Hoya Finlaysonii. It has a peduncle that's going to bloom for the very first time. I've been growing it for 2 years, so I'm really excited about this. And that one in the front is Crimson Queen, which is always blooming. Moving on to the orchids, there's really not a ton. The Cattleyas are pretty much just more or less the same. My Jackie Bright is back there. This one is one of my complex hybrids. And we have BLC Mari's Glory in the front there that's going to bloom. I have 2 spikes that it's working on, so that's going to open up really soon. Otherwise, everything is pretty much just in active growth. Zoe bit off 2 growths off my Cattleya there, but it still pushed out a 3rd growth, thank goodness. And my Angel Baby Little Darling is blooming. My BC Rustic Spots is in bud. I'm going to show you the bloom on it in a bit. This was just like 2 days ago. And my Little Stars actually has a spike, so I'm excited to see it soon. This one is my Memoria Vern Bloch. I'm going to show you a comparison from when it first started blooming. It was a completely different color to now. My Cattleyas, like I said, they're all in active growth. We do have a couple of buds coming in on some of them. Like this one is my Jerry Refield Paradise Fuchsia. We have some buds that are going to come through very soon. And other than that, everything is more or less just growing. Let me show you the blooms in more detail. Okay, so the first bloom I'm going to show you is my Brassocatleya Rustic Spots. I got this for my birthday as a gift from some of my friends, and I love this orchid. It's so young, yet it blooms so quickly. My birthday's in November, and it's April, so 5 months to bloom is not bad. It's a Richard Mueller hybrid. I love Richard Mueller hybrids. They're just so vigorous. They grow so easy. They bloom multiple times a year. Many of them are fragrant. I didn't notice any fragrance on this morning, but again, it just opened up last night. So we'll see if it forms in a couple of days. But look at those spots. Just lovely. It looks so much like the Richard Mueller hybrids with the spotting on the lip, the spotting on the petals. I really like that on these orchids. And I have a feeling it's going to be really, really vigorous. This is the kind of orchid that blooms usually off every single growth, provided you don't repot it, and I'm going to love it on my collection. The next orchid in bloom is the Phalaenopsis tetraspis Imperatrix purple. And this one blooms. This one blooms pretty often, and I wanted to show it this month because it's the first time that I got some variation in the blooms. So usually this comes out just completely purple, and I finally got a bloom that was white and purple. So the Tetraspis species, I was going to call it a hybrid, it's a species. They're really cool in that every single bloom can be different. This one is fragrant. It's easy to grow. I repotted it last year. It's in very fluffy moss, topped with bark. I love the color. The fragrance is not my favorite. It smells like a plasticky wax. So it's not quite like the Amboinensis, which is like burned rubber to me, but it does have its fragrance. Not the best, but really cute. The next orchid in bloom is the Dendrobium New Hope Mini. This was in bloom last month, but I only had a couple of flowers to show for it, and I wanted to show you a couple more blooms on it. So this is a compact dendrobium. It's not too big. It's really nice, and it's also starting to push out a keiki here. So I'll probably give that away to a friend real soon, and we'll see how it goes for them. They'll probably, these keikis tend to be pretty vigorous, and the roots look like they're big enough. We've we've just got such cute flowers on this. I just find it adorable. Unfortunately, of course, Zoe's eating it, but we have a new growth pushing out, and I think I will remove this from semi-hydro when I repot it. So far, it's happy here, but I'm moving away from that growth system. But I love these cute little blooms. Again, compact dendrobium. Can't go wrong with this one. It's very vigorous. Okay, now the next orchid is another compact dendrobium. This one's the Dendrobium Angel Baby Little Darling, and it is one of my favorite dendrobiums ever. I got this in 2020. I got it from White Plains Orchids. I love the fragrance on it. I got it as a small dendrobium, and I remember it cost me like $55, and I was like, "Dang, this plant is expensive." But when it bloomed, it just smelled like gardenia. Every time it blooms, it's amazing. Actually, when I recorded this, I lost half of the blooms already. They were already spent, so this was more floriferous than it looks right now. It's very vigorous. I've given keikis to about 15 different people. So many people have bloomed their keikis from this plant. So vigorous, so nice. Eventually, I have to divide it. I love this orchid. The next orchid in bloom is the BLC Memoria Vern Bloch, and you'll remember this from last month, but I wanted to show you a comparison of what this orchid looked like a month ago to what it looks like now. And I love when a Cattleya is in bloom for over 3 weeks, because that's usually the average for me, about 3 weeks in bloom, and this one is going on 4. And check out the color change on this orchid. So this orchid has been in bloom almost 4 weeks, and look at this bright yellow. So it opens up that like peachy bronzy color, and it turns into like a dark yellow, and then like an orange, then a dark yellow, then into this very, very, very bright yellow. It's still very fragrant. A lot of the Richard Mueller hybrids are. You could see the lip is kind of looks like the Rustic spots lip too. I love that characteristic on these orchids. But back to this one, look at that sunshine yellow. I love that the blooms lasted so long, just like the Rustic spots. This one is very vigorous. I got blooms on it as a teeny tiny seedling, and it just gives me an improvement in the bloom count every single time. I'll be repotting it soon, but oh my gosh, I love this orchid as well. I love this orchid too. I feel like I say it about everything, but I showed you how this was blooming in my last video when I was repotting that phal. This is my LD's Bear King RH3. This is one of my biggest Phalaenopsis orchids. This orchid smells like oranges. It is so lovely. I repotted it almost 2 years ago, so I have to repot it soon. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I have to somehow train these growths upright. This pot is not heavy, and because the orchid is so heavy on top, sometimes it flops over. I'm thinking of hanging it in my window, But it blooms in the fall and it also blooms in the spring. And oh my gosh, guys, the orange on this is just lovely. This is a really good orchid. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more orchid content. I am away all of the next week, but I got you. I made some extra videos for you. So let me know what you think while I'm away. I have a video on Brassavola nodosa hybrids coming up. And I don't know what the next video is going to be after that. We'll see. I'll think about it in the next few days. But anyway, guys, thank you again for watching. And I will see you when I get back. Bye, everyone. See you soon.